Hello, guys. Welcome to my podcast, The Digital Revolution, and thank you for joining in. My name is Priya Rao, and in this podcast, just like in all of my other episodes, we are trying to connect with all of you who have been wanting to build something digitally and not knowing what to do. Through this podcast, it is my attempt to reach out to more and more people who are willing to get started on an entrepreneurial stint and are ready to take their businesses online through a digital presence. Either it could be a traditional business which is wanting to go into the digital space to scale it up, or somebody who just wants to get started as a solopreneur and travel the world doing something digital. I'm going to cover every aspect of my own learning. The reason for me getting started with this podcast was to be able to connect with more and more people like I was, few years ago, few months ago. I was in a job until early last year and I realized that it was not fulfilling. It was not adding any value to my overall life. There was everything on my personal front which was suffering. And I always wanted to have some kind of a work life balance. So, after having moved from India to Germany, I found out that, while the work life, there is a big balance here, there is no late hours of work. But when you are so committed and you swear into a job, basically, and you are so consumed by it all, because every day you do better, you shine, you start looking good. But what happens if these companies shut down or these departments shut down or people are fired for some corona happening in the world? Now, what do you do in such cases? So luckily, I came across this brilliant product, which is about how one can start a business online and how one can scale that business online. It's a whole course that I got introduced to sometime in December last year, and it just gave me the direction I have been seeking for so many years of my life, guys. I really wanted to do something of my own because I saw across these 9 to 5 jobs and so many places, so many roles, so many countries that I have worked in. I always felt there was everything very limiting, because in these jobs the best of you doesn't shine out. There is sometimes even the best of you has to be set aside because you are constrained due to family circumstances. You have to probably get back home to make dinner for the family, and this happens, right? Women face this a lot. We have to get back home. We cannot just be free and be working late into the night every day. Careers take a second place in our lives, and imagine if we are given that complete freedom to be able to work from home with limited number of hours, 2 3 hours a day, if that works for you, and the rest of the day could be totally spent in some kind of a personal activity building, to personality building. You could be doing yoga, you could be doing meditation, you will have all the time in the day. You can cook some really good food for your families and you could still be so rested. There could be days that you are having a mood swing, but it will be perfectly fine because you are the boss here, right? You start as a solopreneur, and there are so many things that you can do as a solopreneur, guys. And that is the reason why I wanted to start this podcast and connect with more and more and more of you there who are pretty done with the 9 to 5 role, and you realize it's sometimes not just about money. You are literally devoid of any kind of time, any kind of a resource at the end of the week. And you are so tired during the weekends. You don't have so much time left anymore. You don't have energy left anymore to do anything. Imagine, instead of being in a 9 to 5 job and end up earning a lot more than a CEO in that job could be earning every month, guys. This is the kind of digital entrepreneurship I'm talking about. It is powerful, it is spreading, and I was having FOMO until last year, and I'm so glad that this product came my way. If any one of you is interested to get started, go down in the link below in the description, check out my store and go buy that product, guys. It is brilliant product. It is going to empower you with everything you need to know about setting up your digital entrepreneurship. Yeah, and if you go ahead and do that, reach out to me. I will personally mentor you guys and bring you up to pace with whatever kind of businesses that you're doing. If you are a 9 to 5er and starting to, planning to set up a side juggle, I'll be happy to guide you with that space. If you are a small entrepreneurship and do not know how to scale your business online, guys, I can get started with you. I can start working with you on that. And guys, because this is adding so much value to my life, my everyday is looking up is so much more creative, so much more happier. I have all the space and time in the whole world. There are times that during my office hours, I always wanted to sometimes take a small afternoon nap because it is supposed to really bring back your energy back manifold. In Japanese culture, there is this concept that you can take an afternoon nap, and really big companies like Mind Valley Inc., they have this kind of concept where people are allowed to go and take a nap during the day. Guys, one can never do it in a normal office job. Imagine if you are working from home, you are a solopreneur, or you are traveling around the world, you could decide what time of the day you function. You could decide what time of the day you party. And every day could be so relaxing because you would be spending hardly 3-4 hours a day in front of the screen, and rest of the time you would be really exploring the world. There are amazing examples across the internet, guys, and even through my previous episodes, I have been saying this. Get rid of the people you see on your feed. They are not the ones who are giving you the right energies. Start looking at the things you want to be. Start looking at things you want to do. They say we are an average of the 5 people we surround ourselves with. Now, in a real world, we technically do not have anybody surrounding us except for our families or immediate office workers where we have to go to work every day. But imagine, guys, if you could choose who would be your friend in a digital space, who would be that mentor in that digital space. And you could have a following of people who love what you do, who love how you think, and they resonate that same frequency. Probably they are reaching out to you for some kind of an energy to get from you. And there could be some people who would learn from you because they were hungry and they were seeking. So I urge you guys, if you can get started, if you are good at something, let it be anything. If you are a teacher in any other part of the world, you are definitely good at something. You can set up so many things online, guys. To begin with, you could, let's say, if you start teaching students online, that is the least of the things. But over a period of time, you can bring out the best in your curriculum, and you could have ready training sessions where people subscribe to your channel and they come and visit your content, whatever that is. You could be really good at something and you could create it into a course structure. There is a lot that can be done in the digital space, guys. There is no limitation to this. And if you say, no, you are not that kind of a person, no problem. You can go and, sit and plan what kind of a book can you write. With today's AI tools, there is so much. You can literally write a book before the end of the day. It takes you 6 to 8 hours to literally print books today. So yes, all of this space, well, while it is exploding and you need to find out what part of this whole space is going to be your niche. Because if you are a 9 to 5er, or you are somebody, somebody brilliant who is now constrained to be at home. And I know many of my friends, who had to leave their careers because they had children, leave their careers because they got married. And there are so many people I know who became unwell and had to leave everything they were doing in the past to go into safer job environments, but in reduced capacities. And I must say this, guys, this is something so powerful. And I don't want to be alone in enjoying this journey. And I want like-minded people to come forward and get started in this amazing, amazing digital space, guys. Let's dive right into the episode now. One of these days, in one of my upcoming episodes, I'm going to break down a whole day of a digital entrepreneur and how one can really build up a whole beautiful day around digital entrepreneurship. All the way from starting in the morning and how you can have your lazy mornings. You can decide, you can agree with the mood swings that come your way. You could make sumptuous meals for your families and travel. The most important part of today's episode is overcoming fear. Now, why do you think this matters? Did you know that 90% of the people around the world, the one thing that stops all of them from starting anything, is fear. Now, the truth is, everyone has that imposter syndrome at first. So what is an imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern where individuals doubt their own capabilities or abilities and feel like they are a fraud. Even when they have the necessary skills, they have the necessary accomplishment that prove otherwise. Now, what are the things that happen when you are having an imposter syndrome? People have an inner voice that I'm not good enough to do this. I don't deserve this success, or who am I to teach? So feeling less about yourself. There are many, many common imposter syndromes. Like, you can say you are having fear of being exposed as a fraud. You feel that you come across as a fraud. And this happens with many of us, guys. This happens with a lot of us. Sometimes we have to really, step out of our comfort zone to show to the world who we are. Sometimes we don't know what we are capable of, and somebody else finds that in you. Because all these times you are hiding, and then you realize that, okay, let it be. Because this hiding is not helping me. Let me try stepping out of my comfort zone and see if it makes a difference. And when you come out, you end up shining, and people start loving you and people start talking about it. So it's not necessary that, you have to be loved by all, guys. this is, and I will talk to you about it. It is very possible that you put up some videos and somebody dislikes it. It is okay. It doesn't matter. It was not meant for them, right? Like we spoke in previous episodes, I spoke about why we need to identify the audience we are trying to relate to, because guys, I am trying to create content which needs to cut through this chase, cuts through this noise of the digital space and connect with you who are probably sitting in one far part of the world and looking to get started in a digital journey and don't know where to begin. Guys, I want to connect with you, because rest who dislike me, who want to make a bad comment on a video, or they don't like something about it, or are laughing at me, it doesn't matter. It is not for them. So this is what I'm telling guys. Maybe you are really good at something. Find out what is that good thing. Sit down with yourself, do a little self-analysis, audit yourself and find out what are you really good at? What do people call you? What do they think you are? And start there. Now, an imposter syndrome, which is that fear that you feel that you are fraudulent and you are doing some kind of something really wrong with people. It happens with everybody. There are times that you want to tell people that, okay, like for me, when I started this journey 2 months ago, when I started, I just knew that this is too important a learning for any one of us to miss. While I bought this product and I was still learning and absorbing everything which was coming my way through these digital courses they have. And I realized that, by the time I start working about it and by the time I start talking about it, it might already be too late. And thank God I got an email very early in January from this company called Mind Valley, and Vishen Lakhiani, who is the founder of Mind Valley. It was an email from him, they send these mails and it said, 2025 is going to be the last normal human year. It jolted me out of my comfort zone. Guys, I am planning to do an AI program with Mind Valley later this year. And I just know this is going to be the future of everything we know. Like the time is getting collapsed. Earlier, we used to say every 100 years, there was some big new development which happened. And then it got shrunk to 10 years. Every decade, advancements are happening. Now these 10 years have shrunk to 4 years. So the whole time lapse is about 4 years. What is happening every 4 years? And guys, with the digital revolution, which is now coming in so many ways, powered by AI, you will see that this 4 year is going to further collapse into few years, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. They are already talking about a massive revolution happening by 2026. Everything is going to be driven by AI across so many spaces. You can already see it, right? Your company probably is also adopting a lot of AI during this time. So there is a science behind this fear and why our brains hold us back. Now, did you know that fear isn't real? It's just your brain's way of trying to protect you. In a recent study I came across, and the study spoke about how fear is totally a brain's way of producing heart palpitations or breathlessness or so many other aspects of fear, right? Fear comes with cramps, fear comes with headaches, fear comes with many things. And there are funny ways in which fear can actually show up as well. So, but when fear happens, what is brain trying to do? Now, why is, first of all, brain coming in when you want to do something more and something bigger? Now, the important thing about this is that when you are not sure, when you're having this imposter syndrome or you are just simply scared of getting started in a new space, the brain's connotation of you venturing into something unknown is considered to be death. Now, this is very strong, right? You will say, no, of course, I'm not scared of death. I'm not thinking of death when I want to do some digital entrepreneurship, or I'm not thinking of death when I'm trying to, start skipping today. But it's very, very funny, guys. But yes, that is the reason any kind of a change, the brain's connotation is that it's moving towards death, and instantly it figures out a way to close the system and build up huge amounts of fear so that you just don't step into that unknown. But any one of you who has dared, who has challenged himself in the past, who have done things in spite of all the odds, the whole sweetness of victory is so beautiful, guys, right? Because you decided to overcome, you decided to jump over that fence and make it work, because it truly was not that bad as you were initially made to believe through that notorious brain of yours. So your brain's job is purely survival. It doesn't care about success. In fact, anything new is considered to be like equal to a potential threat. Now, and it's amazing, but the best part is when you start acknowledging that this is happening to your brain, and that's when your system will revolt and say, no, there's nothing so fearful about it. There's nothing fearful about taking up a brand new challenge. There's nothing fearful about taking up a brand new course or taking up a brand new, step into a direction that I don't know about, but I just know that a lot of people are going in that direction and it might just add to my whole success. And if it doesn't add to your success, right, that's also possible, because that's the fear. What is the worst that can happen to us if we get started on a way that we did not want to do in the first place, but somewhere in our heart's calling we wanted to do something like that, right? If you fail, you will come back, learn it from that experience. You will never go that way again. At least you would have learned. You would have died trying rather than worrying about, I wish I had figured this out earlier. So let's do a small little exercise to check your fear status. Okay. Let's see how, at what level of your radar it is showing up right now. Tim Ferriss says, whenever in any kind of a fear, now start setting something around it. So it's an exercise, fear setting exercise. Number 1, what's the worst that could happen? Fair question. Question number 2, what's the best that could happen? And question number 3, how could I recover if something goes wrong? Now, let's say, guys, if it is some kind of an investment, of course, if it is too large an investment, it's another matter. Then you would have weighed the pros and cons and knowing which way you are headed. But if it is some kind of an investment, which could be $50, $500, $1,500, depending on your capacities to take that risk, right? What could be the worst situation? So that fear that your brain has that you are going to die, definitely you don't die when you have some kind of failure of money, because money is flowing, guys. It will keep coming back to you. You might be in large debts. We all are. Everybody is. Everybody has some kind of an EMI going on. Nobody buys a house today cash down. Nobody goes and buys a car cash down. Everybody is taking up EMIs, even for small appliances. People end up doing that, right? So the point is that you will not die. Yes, you might lose some money in it all, but I also believe in one more thing. If you decided to invest in something and you didn't go all that way to really explore that whole opportunity, then it is not something anybody can help you with, right? So we have to make sure, one part is fear, but if you really take that jump, take that leap into that unknown space, then you have to have consistency and move forward in the whole game, guys, because that's the only thing which is going to help you. So through this Tim Ferriss's exercise, you will realize, actually most of the times we realize that our worst fears aren't even that bad. We were just thinking about it to be super bad, right? So you need to find out that you are not afraid of failure. You are probably afraid of judgment. Possibly that is the case, right? So you need to find out what comes out of those questions and answer. Tag me, guys. If you want to talk about it, DM me on Insta at priya.rao. I'll be happy to discuss and take up your fear challenges, and we can see how we can help you attend to that problem. In fact, I want to talk about real examples of people who pushed through fear. There are so many people whom watch, I follow, who in this world has gone through without having serious amounts of debt. I have seen really famous entrepreneurs who are neck deep in debts, and they have risen up, again and again into their new spaces, whether it is an actor or whether it is an entrepreneur. So you have to see tough times. Money is one part of it, but you have to see tough times, guys, to be able to come out in the open and shine, right? Many people I see, so many leaders I see, they have all risen from really, really tough times. They were tough times in a financial way. They were tough times in a very, very personal way, where they had their heavy personal losses. People lost trust, people lost families, people lost friends. And so it all happens, right? But the point is that one has to be open for trying out something new. Today's things, the way things are changing, guys, today, and this is why I urge you through this podcast. So the way the things are changing, in 1 year's time, you will start to feel that a lot is not going your way because you are probably not there. The whole the skill set is changing in the whole market. So like you needed to have good handwriting skills, you don't need good handwriting skills anymore. You need to be able to really type out fast. You need to be able to create some stuff on the go, whether you are using, any kind of a chat GPT or a mid journey or some kind of a product like that, or you are using a platform like Canva, where you are able to build up the whole digital space, and you need to start creating content, and content could be in any form, guys. There are people I'm watching on all of my internet spaces now, because now I'm watching how people are growing in this internet space. People are growing with crazy ideas. They have a quote, and they have a quote every day, 3 times a day, It's just a little Canva colorful page with a quote sent across, and people are earning $1.7 million, 1.7 million euros through that. How does that happen, guys? Which part of the world, what kind of a job can get you that?